My mother used to say that guilt is just love with nowhere to go. I never understood what she meant until the day I didn't answer her last phone call. I'm Duncan Gilchrist, 47 years old, recently divorced, currently unemployed if you want to get technical about it. 3 weeks ago, my phone rang at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. I was in the middle of a job interview, my first real one in 6 months, and I let it go to voicemail. Mom's voice came through later that evening, tired and small. "Duncan, honey, it's me. I know you're busy. Call when you can." I meant to call back. I really did. But Sarah had just served me the divorce papers. The basement of my rental had flooded, and honestly, Mom called every few days just to chat. There'd be time. There wasn't. She died 2 days later. Aneurysm. The doctor said she wouldn't have felt anything, like that was supposed to help. My sister Vera found her in the garden, still holding pruning shears, tomato plants swaying in the October wind. Now I'm driving north on I-95 in my 15-year-old Subaru that burns oil and squeals when I brake. Everything I own is crammed in the back seat and trunk. The apartment lease ran out. Sarah got the house, and I've got nowhere else to be except Mom's funeral in Lewiston, Maine. After that, I don't know. Vera says I can stay with her family for a while, but I've seen the way her husband Glenn looks at me, like I'm a cautionary tale he tells his kids at bedtime. The radio's been acting up for the last hour. Started around Portland, just after I crossed in the Maine. Static mostly, occasionally breaking into fragments of songs I half recognize before dissolving again. My phone's GPS keeps freezing, the blue dot representing me stuttering across the screen like it can't quite figure out where I am. I've been driving for 11 hours. My back aches. My eyes ache. Everything aches. The funeral's tomorrow morning at 10. I should have left yesterday, given myself time, but I kept finding reasons to delay. Had to return the cable box. Had to drop off my key. Had to sit in the empty apartment one last time and pretend I wasn't afraid of what comes next. Guilt is just love with nowhere to go. Up ahead, brake lights bloom red in the afternoon sun. Traffic slowing. I ease off the gas and the Subaru settles into a crawl. Probably an accident. There's always an accident. I light a cigarette and wait. 15 minutes pass, then 30. The line of cars hasn't moved an inch. I try the radio again, but it's worse now. Not even static. Just a low, warbling tone that makes my teeth hurt. I switch it off. My phone shows 1 bar of service, but when I try to pull up a traffic map, the screen just spins. The little loading circle goes round and round, hypnotic and useless. I crack the window. October air filters in, carrying the smell of exhaust and hot asphalt. Somewhere behind me, a dog barks. A few cars up, a minivan's hazard lights blink in steady rhythm. My cigarettes burn down to the filter. I stub it out in the ashtray that's already overflowing. I really need to empty this thing. And immediately want another. The pack's on the passenger seat, next to my duffel bag and the sympathy card Vera asked me to sign. I couldn't think of what to write, so I just put my name. A car door slams. I look in the rear view and see a woman climbing out of the silver sedan 3 cars back. She's wearing yoga pants and the college sweatshirt, phone pressed to her ear. She walks a few steps into the breakdown lane, hand on her hip, scanning the road ahead like she might spot the problem. Others start getting out too. A middle-aged guy in a suit jacket, 2 teenagers from a beat-up Nissan, an elderly couple moving slowly, the man holding the woman's elbow. I should probably get up too, stretch my legs, see what's happening, but something stops me. Not fear exactly, more like the feeling you get when you're about to say something and realize mid-breath that you shouldn't. A small warning bell rings somewhere in the back of your skull. I stay in the car. The woman with the phone is talking now, gesturing with her free hand. The teenagers are laughing about something. The elderly couple just stands there, staring at the highway. It's almost peaceful in a strange way, like we're all waiting for a parade to start. Then I hear the voice that comes from everywhere and nowhere, distorted, amplified, wrong somehow. Like whoever's speaking is doing it through equipment that wasn't meant for human vocal cords. Return to your vehicles. Immediately. No one is permitted outside. This is your only warning. The woman with the phone freezes mid-sentence. The teenagers stop laughing. Everyone's looking around, trying to figure out where the voice came from. This is your only warning. It repeats. Nobody moves. The guy in the suit jacket calls out, "What's going on? Is there an accident?" No response. Just the wind and the idle of 100 engines. "Hey!" The suit guy shouts louder. "We've been sitting here for..." I don't see what happens. 1 second he's standing there. The next he's on the ground. The sound comes after. A wet crack like a branch breaking. He doesn't get up. The elderly woman screams. Everyone scatters. The teenagers spring back to their Nissan. The woman in yoga pants trips, drops her phone, scrambles on hands and knees toward her sedan. The elderly man tries to help his wife move faster, both of them shuffling with painful urgency. I sink lower in my seat, heart slamming against my ribs. My hands find the steering wheel and grip it hard enough that my knuckles go white. An ambulance comes screaming up the shoulder, lights flashing but no siren. It stops near the fallen man. 2 paramedics jump out, and there's someone else with them. Someone dressed in dark tactical gear carrying something I can't quite make out. They don't check if he's breathing. They just grab him under the arms and drag him toward the ambulance. His head lolls. 1 shoe falls off. The paramedics load him in and climb in after. The doors slam. The ambulance takes off, and within seconds it's gone, disappearing around a curve in the highway. Everyone's back in their cars now, doors locked, windows up. I realize I'm shaking. Not my hands, my whole body, vibrating like a plucked string. My phone buzzes. Text from Dhira. "Where are you? Thought you'd be here by now." I stare at the message. My thumbs hover over the keyboard, but I don't know what to type. Stuck in traffic feels wildly insufficient. Something bad is happening sounds insane. Before I can decide, the phone dies. Battery was at 40%. I try to restart it. Nothing. Through the windshield, I watch the minivan's hazard lights continue their steady blinking. Behind me, the dog has stopped barking. And somewhere up ahead, I hear the rumble of heavy machinery starting to move. The trucks come from the south. Not regular trucks. These are massive industrial things that make the highway shudder when they roll past on the opposite side of the divider. Some carry cranes that extend up into the sky like metal fingers. Others haul huge sections of something on flatbeds, wrapped in canvas that flaps in the wind. I count 12 before I stop counting. They position themselves along the southbound lanes, spaced out at regular intervals. I can see workers now, dozens of them, moving between the trucks. They're all wearing the same thing. Dark coveralls, hard hats, reflective vests. From this distance, they look like toys, little figures arranged on a model highway. One of the cranes groans to life. Its arm swings out over the divider, carrying one of those canvas-wrapped sections. When they peeled the canvas away, I see what it is. Metal panels. Each one has to be 20 feet tall, maybe more. Dull gray, riveted together in sections, with some kind of reinforcement running along the edges. They're building a wall. Right there, in the middle of I-95, they're building a wall. The first panel slots into place with a sound like a church bell. The crane releases, retracts, swings back for another. The workers move quickly, securing bolts, checking alignment. Already they're lifting the second panel. I look around at the other cars. Nobody's getting out anymore. A few people have their phones pressed to windows trying to film this. Most are just watching, faces pale behind glass. The wall grows. 3 panels. 5. 8. In less than 20 minutes, they've sealed off a 100-yard section of the southbound side. My mouth is dry. I reach for the water bottle in my cup holder, but my hands are shaking so badly I nearly drop it. The water tastes like plastic and fear. A tap on my window makes me jump so hard I bite my tongue. There's a woman standing outside. She's young, maybe late 20s, with dark hair pulled into a ponytail. She's wearing jeans and a Red Sox hoodie. Her eyes are wide, and she's breathing hard like she's been running. I hesitate, then roll the window down an inch. "Do you have a phone that works?" she asks. Her voice is hoarse. "Mine's dead, and I need to call my daughter. She's with a babysitter and..." "Mine's dead too," I say. "Just died a few minutes ago. But it was charged. 40%. She closes her eyes for a second. "Everyone's is dead. I've asked 6 people. Every single phone just stopped." "What's happening?" I ask, even though I'm not sure I want to hear the answer. "I don't know." She glances over her shoulder at the wall construction. "But I saw what they did to that guy who got out. Did you see? I saw them take him. He's dead. He has to be." She turns back to me. "I'm Jess. I was driving up to visit my parents in Augusta. You?" "Duncan. Funeral in Lewiston." "I'm sorry." She says it automatically, the way everyone does, but there's something genuine in it. Maybe because we're both equally screwed right now, grief suddenly feels less important than survival. "How many people do you think are stuck here?" I ask. Jess looks up and down the line of cars. "Hundreds, maybe more." I walk back about 50 cars before someone told me to get back in my vehicle or they'd make me. Guy in tactical gear, carrying a rifle. Jesus. "Yeah." She hugs herself, hands rubbing her arms. "My daughter's 4. The babysitter's supposed to leave at 6. If I don't call, if I don't show up." She doesn't finish, doesn't need to. Behind her, I see movement. 2 figures in tactical gear walking down the line of cars, checking each one. They're still far enough away that I can't make out details, but close enough that my stomach tightens. "You should get back in your car," I say. "They're coming this way." Jess follows my gaze. Shit. "Which car is yours?" "The gray Camry." 4 up, driver's side. "Go." "No." She nods and takes off for the fast walk, not running, but not dawdling either. I watch her climb into the Camry and shut the door. The tactical guys keep coming. One of them pauses at the blue sedan, taps on the window with the barrel of his rifle. The window rolls down. Words are exchanged. The window rolls back up. They move on. When they reach my Subaru, I'm ready. Window already cracked, hands visible on the wheel. The one who taps my window has a face like weathered stone, mid-40s, clean-shaven, eyes hidden behind dark sunglasses even though the sun's getting low. "Everything okay, sir?" he asks. His tone is pleasant, professional, like he's a cop checking on a stranded motorist. "Fine," I say. "Just waiting." "Good." "Stay in your vehicle." We're working to resolve the situation. What situation? Highway emergency. Should have things moving again soon. The wall? Temporary safety measure. He smiles and it doesn't reach his eyes. Can't reach his eyes. I can't even see them. Just sit tight. Someone will update you shortly. He moves on before I can respond. I watch them continue down the line, stopping at random cars, having the same conversation. Behind them, the wall keeps growing. They're working on the northbound side now, too. Panels rising up to mirror the ones on the south. We're being boxed in. I try my phone again. Still dead. I plug it into the car charger anyway, hoping. The charging icon doesn't appear. The sun sinks lower. Orange light spills across the highway, turning everything amber and strange. The shadows from the wall stretch long across the asphalt, and I can't help but notice how they seem to be reaching toward us. Reaching, or closing in. I watch the workers through my windshield and wonder if any of them have families. If any of them know what this is really about. If any of them care. Probably not. People are good at following orders, especially when the alternative is being the guy on the ground with one shoe missing. The crane lifts another panel, the wall grows higher, and we all just sit here and watch it happen. 2 hours in, someone tries to run. I don't see who it is at first, just a blur of motion in my peripheral vision. Someone sprinting across the northbound lanes toward the tree line. It's a man, I think, wearing a white t-shirt that makes him easy to track against the darkening sky. He's fast, gets maybe 30 yards before the shot rings out. Not a gunshot, something else. A compressed air sound like a nail gun. The man stumbles, grabs his leg, keeps running. Another shot. He goes down hard. The tactical guys emerge from between the cars, 3 of them moving at a jog, not rushing. They've done this before. One of them speaks into a radio. Within a minute, another ambulance arrives. Same routine as before. Load him up, drive away. But this time I see something else. Behind the ambulance, coming from the same direction, is a military transport truck. It parks perpendicular to the highway, blocking the shoulder. The back gate drops and more tactical personnel pour out, at least 20 of them. They spread out along the line of cars, taking up positions every 10 vehicles or so, just standing there, watching us. Jess appears at my window again. I didn't even see her get out. Don't, I say before she can speak. They're watching everything now. I know. I'm not stupid. She crouches down so she's below the window line. I talk to some people. There's maybe 200 cars trapped here. Someone said they walked all the way to the front of the line. There's another wall there. We're completely sealed in. How long until they notice you're out here? That's when I'm talking fast. She glances toward the nearest tactical guy. He's facing away from us, but that could change any second. A few of us are thinking about trying to get out together. Safety in numbers. If we all rush at once, that's suicide. So is sitting here waiting to see what happens next. You have a daughter, I remind her. Her jaw tightens, which is exactly why I need to get out of here. Every minute I'm stuck, she's another minute closer to being alone. I want to argue, but I understand. If I had someone waiting for me, really waiting, not just obligation and funeral arrangements, I might feel the same way. How many people? I ask. 6 so far, maybe more. We're thinking midnight, when it's darkest. They have night vision, thermal imaging. We'll see you coming. You don't know that. Look at their equipment. Look at how organized this is. I gesture toward the wall, which is now 3/4 complete. This isn't some improvised response. They plan this. They're ready for everything. Jess is quiet for a moment. When she speaks again, her voice is smaller. So what do we do? Just sit here? I don't know. My daughter's name is Emma. She's not looking at me anymore. She's staring in her hands. She has the stuffed rabbit she carries everywhere. It's disgusting, falling apart, but she won't let me wash it. Says it'll lose its smell. Her voice cracks. I need to get back to her. I know. My ex-husband is going to... She stops, shakes her head. He's going to use this against me. When I don't show up, when I don't call. He's going to say I abandoned her. I don't know what to say to that. All my reassurances feel hollow. A flashlight beam sweeps across the cars ahead of us. Jess ducks lower. You should go, I whisper. She nods, but doesn't move immediately. The guy organizing the escape, his name is Trevor. Blue Ford pickup, about 20 cars ahead. If you change your mind, I won't. Yeah. She manages a weak smile. I probably won't either. But it helps to think about it. She crawls back toward her car, staying low. I watch until she's safely inside. The flashlight beam comes closer. I slouch in my seat, trying to look like I'm sleeping. The light pauses on my car, then moves on. My stomach growls. I haven't eaten since breakfast. A gas station breakfast burrito that I barely tasted. There's a protein bar somewhere in my duffel bag, but I don't want to draw attention by rummaging around. The wall is nearly complete now. They're working on the roof. I watch them lift the first overhead panel into place. It's a massive metal sheet, slightly curved, with grooves along the edges that interlock with the next section. The crane lifts it carefully, guided by workers with ropes. When it settles into position, the sound echoes through the enclosure we're rapidly becoming. More panels follow. The sky disappears in sections. First the north end, then the middle, then creeping toward where I'm sitting. The last light of day filters through the narrowing gap, honey-colored and desperate. By the time full darkness falls, 3/4 of the roof is in place. They've set up work lights, harsh white LED arrays that cast everything in stark relief. The shadows are wrong under artificial light, too sharp, too black. Someone a few cars ahead opens their door and vomits onto the pavement. A tactical guy approaches, says something. The door closes. I need to piss. I've needed to for the last hour. I've been holding it, but my bladder is screaming. I look around the car for something, anything I could use. There's an empty Dunkin' Donuts cup in the door pocket, but it's not nearly big enough. This is humiliating. This whole thing is humiliating. I'm a 47-year-old man pissing in a coffee cup in my car on I-95 because armed men won't let me out. Because some emergency, what emergency? What's the emergency? Requires building a prison around hundreds of people. I finish and cap the cup as best I can. I'll have to dump it later, maybe out the window when no one's looking. My phone is still dead, still plugged into the charger, still useless. I wonder if Vera's tried to call me. She probably has, probably multiple times. By now she's either worried or pissed, possibly both. She'll call the hospital, check if I got in an accident. When they tell her no record of me, she'll call the police, file a missing person report. Will they tell her? Will they even know? A commotion breaks out somewhere behind me, shouting. I turn in my seat and see flashlights converging on a car about 10 back. The driver's door is open. Someone's being pulled out. A woman, middle-aged, fighting and screaming. I have rights. You can't do this. I'm an American citizen. 4 tactical personnel wrestle her toward one of the transport trucks. She's still screaming, her voice raw with fury and terror. Other car doors start opening. People getting out to protest, to help, to do something. Return to your vehicles. The amplified voice booms across the enclosure. Anyone outside their vehicle will be removed. Most people scramble back into their cars immediately. A few remain standing, frozen with indecision. The tactical guys fan out. They're not using tranquilizer guns anymore. Now they're carrying regular rifles, pointed at the ground but ready. The message is clear. Everyone gets back in their cars. The woman is loaded into the truck. The back gate closes. The truck doesn't leave, just sits there, idling, with her screaming somewhere inside. Eventually, the screaming stops. I try not to think about what that means. The roof continues to grow. Another panel, then another. The gap of open sky narrows to a stripe, then a slash, then a sliver, then nothing. We're sealed in. The work lights stay on, bathing everything in that horrible white glow. I can hear the hum of generators, a low, constant drone that I know will drive me crazy if I have to listen to it much longer. I check my watch. 9:47 p.m. I've been here for over 6 hours. My mother's funeral is in 12 hours and 13 minutes. I'm not going to make it. The realization doesn't hit me as hard as it should. Maybe I'm too numb. Maybe I always knew I wouldn't make it, that I'd find some way to fail her one last time. Guilt is just love with nowhere to go. I lean my head against the steering wheel and close my eyes. The protein bar can wait. Sleep probably won't come, but I can at least pretend to rest. Somewhere in the artificial twilight of our metal cage, someone starts crying. Quiet at first, then louder. Others join in. Within minutes, it's a chorus of grief and fear echoing off the walls. No one tells them to stop. Even our captors, it seems, understand that some things can't be controlled. I don't sleep, can't sleep. Just drift in and out of awareness while the generators hum and the work lights burn white against my eyelids. At some point, I notice the tactical personnel have thinned out. There are still some walking the perimeter, but most have retreated to the transport trucks or disappeared through doors in the wall I hadn't noticed before. Small access points, person-sized, scattered along the structure. My watch reads 11:43 p.m. 17 minutes until Trevor and whoever else is desperate enough makes their move. I should warn them again. Should tell them it's pointless. But I don't move. Part of me wants to see what happens. Part of me wants someone to succeed so badly I'm willing to let them try, even if it means watching them fail. I'm a coward. Always have been. Sarah used to say I had an uncanny ability to find the safest place in any situation and root myself there like a tree. She didn't mean it as a compliment. The car behind me flashes its lights. 3 short pauses. Then the car behind that does the same. A signal passing down the line. It's happening. I slide lower in my seat, watching through the steering wheel. For several minutes, nothing. Just the hum of generators and the occasional cough from someone's exhaust pipe. Ben. Movement. Doors opening simultaneously. 5, 6, maybe 7 cars all at once. People spilling out onto the highway, moving fast but not running. Not yet. They're heading for the south wall, the side closest to the original tree line. Trevor is in front, a big guy with a construction worker's build. Behind him, a younger woman, an older man in a cardigan. Others I can't make out clearly. They reach the wall and start looking for handholds trying to climb. Trevor finds a seam between panels and wedges his fingers in, hoisting himself up. Others follow his lead. They may be 6 feet up when the lights hit them. Not work lights, spotlights. Massive beams that turn night into day, so bright I have to squint even from inside my car. The escapees freeze like deer, hands raised to shield their eyes. "Return to your vehicles immediately." The voice again, that same distorted amplification. But this time there's something else underneath it. A frequency that makes my teeth ache, that burrows into my skull and scrapes against bone. I grab my head, pressing palms to temples. All around me, other people are doing the same. Someone's car alarm goes off, then another, triggered by the sound. The escapees drop from the wall, all except Trevor, who holds on, still trying to climb even as his body starts to spasm. The younger woman is on the ground, curled in the ball. The man in the cardigan has his hands clamped over his ears, mouth open in the scream I can't hear over the noise. Then it stops. The silence that follows is somehow worse than the sound. My ears ring. My jaw aches. I taste copper. Trevor loses his grip and falls. He lands hard, doesn't get up immediately. The tactical teams emerge from the access doors, rifles raised now, pointed at the escapees. They're wearing helmets, full face, probably soundproofed. They knew that noise was coming. "You have 10 seconds to return to your vehicles." Nobody moves. Some of them can't move. The younger woman is still curled up. The man in the cardigan has blood running from his nose. 10, 9, 8. Trevor struggles to his feet. He looks around at the others, at the rifles, at the wall they couldn't scale. His shoulders sag. He's not going to make it to Midnight's promised freedom. None of them are. 4, 3. They start walking back to their cars, slowly, supporting each other. Trevor helps the younger woman. Someone else guides the man in the cardigan. They're almost there when one of them, a thin guy in a Celtics jersey I hadn't noticed before, breaks away from the group and runs, not toward the wall, toward the tactical teams. He's screaming something I can't make out, words jumbled by rage or fear or both. They don't use the sound weapon this time. They just shoot him. Regular bullets. The cracks echo off the metal walls, sharp and final. He drops. For a moment, everything freezes. Then people start screaming. Car doors lock with audible clicks. I lock mine too, hands moving on autopilot. The tactical teams don't approach the body. They just stand there, rifles still raised, waiting to see if anyone else wants to try something stupid. Nobody does. An ambulance comes. Same routine. They load the body, and it is a body now, I can tell by the way it moves, that lifeless ragdoll quality, and drive off through one of the access doors. The escapees make it back to their cars. Doors close. The tactical teams hold position for another 5 minutes, then retreat. The spotlights shut off. We're back to the artificial twilight of work lights. I'm shaking. Can't stop. My hands, my legs, my jaw, everything trembling like I'm freezing, even though it's probably 70 degrees in here. Jess appears at my window. She looks terrible, pale, eyes red, hair wild. I roll down the window an inch. "Don't," I say. That was Trevor's group. Her voice is flat. "I almost went with them. But you didn't. I must save my life. Thinking about her. What would happen to her if I..." She stops, swallows. "They killed him. Just shot him." "I know. We're not getting out of here, are we?" I don't answer. Don't need to. "What do they want with us?" she asks. "Why are we here? What's the fucking point?" I don't know. She laughs, sharp and bitter. You keep saying that. I don't know. I don't know. Doesn't it bother you? Not knowing? Of course it does. And why aren't you doing something? Like what? Like getting shot trying to climb a wall? Like anything. Her voice rises. Like not just sitting here waiting to die. We're not going to die. I don't believe it, but I say it anyway. You don't know that. You don't know anything. She's crying now, tears streaming down her face. None of us know anything. We're trapped in this fucking box with people who kill us without warning, and we don't even know why. A flashlight beam sweeps in our direction. I hiss at her. Go. No. She stumbles away, moving between cars toward her Camry. The flashlight follows her progress, holds on her car for a moment, then continues its patrol. I watch the tactical team member walk past. Young, maybe mid-20s. Could be someone's kid brother. Could be Emma's uncle in another life. Hard to square that with the rifle and the willingness to use it. My watch reads 12:14 a.m. The funeral starts in 9 hours and 46 minutes. Vera's probably asleep right now, or trying to. She always was a better sleeper than me, even as kids. She could fall asleep anywhere. Car rides, movie theaters, church pews during Sunday service. Meanwhile, I'd lie awake for hours, mind churning through every possible disaster. Mom used to check on us before bed. She'd open our doors quietly, thinking we were asleep, and just stand there for a minute. Sometimes I'd hear her crying softly. This was after Dad left, when money was tight and she was working 2 jobs and trying to hold everything together with spit and determination. I never let her know I was awake, never got up to comfort her. Just lay there in the dark, listening, doing nothing. The pattern of my entire life, really. Watching other people struggle while I stay safe and still. Around 1 a.m., they start making announcements. The voice comes through speakers I haven't noticed, mounted high on the walls at regular intervals. Remain calm. This is a temporary security measure. Water distribution will begin at 0600 hours. Remain in your vehicles. Further instructions will be provided. Water distribution. That means they're planning to keep us here at least through tomorrow, maybe longer. What security measure? Someone shouts from a few cars up. What's the emergency? No answer. Just the hum of generators and the buzz of work lights. The announcements repeat every 15 minutes. Same message, same inflectionless tone. After the 5th repetition, I stop hearing the words. They just become background noise, like the generators. Around 2 a.m., I notice people starting to move between cars again. Not many, and they're being careful, staying low, avoiding the tactical team's patrol routes. Information sharing, I realize. Trying to figure out what's happening. Building a network. A kid, can't be more than 19, with the wispy attempt at a beard, taps on my window. I consider ignoring him, but something in his face reminds me of my nephew. I crack the window. We're taking the count, he says. Trying to figure out how many people are trapped. Can you help? How? Just pass the number back. I've counted 73 cars from the front wall to here. Someone behind you is coming from your position back. We're trying to get total numbers. What's the point? He looks at me like I've asked why water is wet. So we know. So we can organize. So we're not just... He gestures vaguely at the space around us. Sitting here like cattle. Organizing didn't work out great for Trevor's group. Yeah, well, the kid's jaw tightens. Doing nothing isn't working either. You want to help or not? I count the cars I can see in my rearview mirror. 22 behind me, best I can tell. Thanks. He moves to the next car. I watch him work his way down the line, tapping windows, collecting numbers. Half of me admires the effort. The other half knows it's pointless. Knowing there are 200 or 300 or 500 people trapped doesn't change the fact that we're trapped. But it's something to do. Something to focus on besides the fear. By 3 a.m., exhaustion catches up to me. My eyelids grow heavy despite the work lights, despite the generators, despite everything. I recline my seat as far as it'll go, which isn't far with all my stuff piled in back, and close my eyes. Just before I drift off, I think about Mom's garden, the tomato plants she was pruning when she died. I wonder if Vera picked the tomatoes before they rotted. I wonder if Mom knew in that last moment, but I hadn't called her back. I wonder if she forgave me. Sleep comes like a slow drowning, pulling me under despite my resistance. The last thing I hear is the announcement cycle starting again. Remain calm. This is a temporary security measure. I wake to someone pounding on the hood of my car. For a disoriented moment, I think I'm back in the apartment, that Sarah's knocking to tell me the movers are here. Then reality crashes back. The metal walls, the work lights, the generator hum. A tactical team member stands outside, face hidden behind a black mask. He gestures for me to roll down the window. I do, slowly. Water distribution. Stay in your vehicle. He hands me 2 bottles through the gap. Food distribution at 1200 hours. Stay in your vehicle. Wait. He's already moving to the next car. The water bottles are generic, no labels. Room temperature. I crack one open and drink half of it in 3 long pulls. My throat is raw. My mouth tastes like something died in it. The water helps, but not enough. Through my windshield, I watch the distribution process move down the line. Tactical teams moving car to car, handing out bottles. Efficient. Rehearsed. They've done this before. That thought lodges in my brain like a splinter. They've done this before. My watch reads 6:23 a.m. The funeral starts in 3.5 hours. I picture Vera at the church, checking her phone every 5 minutes, trying to call me. I picture the empty seat next to her in the front pew. I picture Mom's casket at the altar, surrounded by flowers she would have found too expensive. I'm going to miss my own mother's funeral because I'm trapped in a metal box on I-95. The absurdity of it hits me and I start laughing. Quiet at first, then louder. I can't stop. My eyes water, my ribs ache. It's not funny. Nothing about this is funny. But I can't stop laughing. Someone taps on my window. Jess. She looks like she hasn't slept either. Dark circles under her eyes, hair tangled. I compose myself and roll down the window. You okay? She asks. Never better. You were laughing. Was I? I wet my eyes. Couldn't tell you why. She studies my face for a moment. The kid came by earlier. The one doing the count. Yeah? 207 cars. Approximately 400 people, accounting for passengers. She pauses. Someone in the minivan has 3 kids. The youngest is 6 months old. I don't know what to say to that. They're running on a formula. Jess continues. The mother is panicking. She tried to get out to ask for help, but they wouldn't let her. They gave us water. Water doesn't help a 6-month-old baby. I look at my second bottle, still sealed. Give her mine. I've got 2. That's not the point, Duncan. The point is we're being kept here like animals and nobody's telling us why. She leans closer to the window. Some people have been talking. Comparing notes about when we all got stuck, where we were coming from. And most of us entered this stretch of highway between 1 and Fort Piang yesterday. Different directions, different places, but the timing is similar. And everyone's phone died around the same time, right after 3 o'clock. So it's targeted. This isn't random. They picked this specific section of highway, this specific time window. They corralled us here on purpose. For what? Jess glances around, checking for tactical teams. There's a guy, a professor from Boston University. He thinks we're being quarantined. The word hangs in the air between us. Quarantine from what? I ask. He doesn't know. But he says this kind of operation, the speed, the coordination, the complete communication blackout, it matches protocols for biological containment. That's insane. Is it? Look around. She gestures at the walls. They built this in hours. They have everything ready to go. The trucks, the panels, the personnel. You don't mobilize that kind of response for a random emergency. I want to argue, but I can't find the words. Because she's right. This is too organized, too prepared. They were waiting for something. We just happened to be in the wrong place when it happened. Did anyone feel sick yesterday? I ask. Before we got stuck. The professor asked that. Nobody reported symptoms, but that doesn't mean anything. Some pathogens have long incubation periods. Jesus. Yeah. Jess straightens up. There's going to be a meeting. Tonight, after the food distribution. Some people want to organize a formal demand for information, figure out our rights. Our rights went out the window when they shot that guy. So we just give up? I'm not saying that. Then what are you saying? I look at her, really look at her. She's terrified, exhausted, desperate to get back to her daughter. But she's still fighting, still trying to find a way through this. Meanwhile, I'm sitting in my car making excuses for inaction. What time's the meeting? I ask. Surprise flickers across her face. 9 p.m. The professor's car is a silver Prius, right in the middle of the enclosure. You can't miss it. I'll be there. She nods and moves away, continuing her rounds, spreading the word. I finish my first water bottle and start on the second. My stomach cramps with hunger, but I try not to think about it. Food at noon, they said. 4.5 hours. Around 8 a.m., something changes. The work lights flicker. Not much, just a brief dinning, then back to normal. But I notice, and judging by the way people are looking around, others notice too. Then it happens again. Longer this time. The lights dip to maybe 60%, stay there for a few seconds, then surge back to full brightness. The generator's pitch changes, rising and falling like they're straining. One of the access doors opens. A team of people in hazmat suits emerges. Not tactical gear, full hazmat. Yellow suits, helmets with face shields, boots, gloves. They're carrying equipment I don't recognize. Meters of some kind, held out in front of them like metal detectors. They move through the enclosure systematically, passing the meters over cars, pausing occasionally to check readings. When they reach my Subaru, I shrink back instinctively. The meter sweeps across my hood, my windshield, my roof. The person operating it, I can't tell if it's a man or woman through the suit, pauses, checks a device strapped to their wrist, then moves on. They cover every car. It takes almost an hour. Then they retreat through the access door, sealing it behind them. "What the hell was that?" someone shouts. No answer. Just the generators and the work lights. Around 9:30, a woman in a red sedan starts honking her horn. Long, sustained blasts that echo painfully off the metal walls. Others join in. Within minutes, it's a cacophony. Dozens of horns, all blaring at once, demanding attention. The sonic weapon activates. It's worse than last night. The frequency drills into my skull, into my teeth, into the marrow of my bones. I curl into a ball on my seat, hands clamped over ears that can't block out the sound. All around me, horns cut off mid-blast. People scream, but I can't hear them over the weapon's shriek. It lasts maybe 30 seconds. Feels like 30 minutes. When it stops, I taste blood. I've bitten my lip. My whole body is tense, muscles locked, trembling with the aftershock of pain. "Do not disrupt the operation," the announcement system blares. "Cooperation is mandatory. Disruption will be met with escalating consequences." Nobody honks after that. By the time noon arrives, I'm so hungry I'm lightheaded. The tactical teams make their rounds again, handing out MREs, military rations in brown plastic bags. I get something labeled beef stew. It tastes like salted cardboard, but I eat every bite. Other people are less fortunate. A man 3 cars up tries to grab extra MREs when the tactical team isn't looking. They see him. 2 of them drag him out of his car while he screams that he has diabetes, that one meal isn't enough. They pull him toward a transport truck. His wife gets out to follow, begging them to let him go. They turn the sonic weapon on both of them. Brief burst, just a second, but it's enough. They collapse. The tactical team loads them both into the truck. The truck drives away through an access door. It doesn't come back. That's when I notice something else. The transport trucks that have been parked along the perimeter. There were 6 this morning. Now there are only 4. They're taking people somewhere, and they're not bringing them back. Jess appears at my window again around 2 p.m. She's crying. "The baby died," she says. "The 6-month-old. Her mother is... She can't finish. I'm sorry." They wouldn't help. The mother was screaming for a doctor, for anyone, and they just stood there. They let that baby die. I don't know what to say. There's nothing to say. "I have to get out of here," Jess whispers. "I have to get back to Emma. I don't care what it takes. Don't do anything stupid. Stupid is staying here waiting to die." She wipes her eyes roughly. "Are you still coming to the meeting?" "Yeah." "Good. Because we're running out of time. Whatever this is, whatever they're doing to us, it's getting worse." She's right. I can feel it. Something's shifting in the air, in the way the tactical teams move, in the frequency of the announcements. Like we're approaching some kind of threshold. The funeral is over now. Vera buried our mother without me. She probably thinks I'm drunk somewhere, or that I just couldn't be bothered to show up. She'll never know I was here, trapped, desperate to be anywhere else. Guilt is just love with nowhere to go. But maybe there's somewhere it can go. Maybe instead of sitting here marinating in regret for all the things I didn't do, I can actually do something. Even if it's small, even if it fails. At least I'll have tried. By 8:30 p.m., I've made up my mind. I'm going to the meeting. I'm going to listen to what the professor has to say. And if there's a plan, any plan, I'm going to help. Not because I'm suddenly brave, not because I've overcome my nature, but because for the first time in my life, there's literally nowhere left to hide. The meeting happens in whispers, spread across 20 cars in the middle of the enclosure. The professor is in his 60s, gray beard, wire-rimmed glasses, wearing a wrinkled Oxford shirt. His name is Dr. Raymond Fletcher. He teaches epidemiology at BU. "Keep your voices down," he says through his cracked window. "They're listening, but if we're quiet enough, they might not intervene." About 30 people have gathered, moving carefully between vehicles, crouching low. Jess is here, the kid who did the census, a truck driver named Hank with arms like tree trunks, others whose names I don't know. "We've compiled information," Dr. Fletcher says. "Times, locations, symptoms. I need to share what we found, but I warn you, it's not good." "Just tell us," someone says. Dr. Fletcher pulls out a small notebook. "Everyone here entered this section of highway between 1:15 and 3:45 p.m. yesterday. Most of us came from different places, but we all passed through the same 20-mile radius." "Which radius?" Hank asks. "Around Freeport. Specifically, the area near the old naval station. Something cold settles in my stomach." "The naval station's been closed for years," I say. "Decommissioned in 2011. Dr. Fletcher confirms. "Officially. But there's been activity there. Construction, unmarked vehicles. The locals noticed but assumed it was environmental cleanup or redevelopment." "What does that have to do with us?" Jess asks. "Yesterday at 2:47 p.m., there was an incident. A small explosion or release of some kind. Nothing major. Most people wouldn't have noticed. But those hazmat teams that swept through this morning, they were checking for radiation signatures." The group goes silent. "You're saying we were exposed?" The census kid's voice cracks. "To radiation?" "I'm saying it's possible." The timing matches. The containment protocols match. The complete communications blackout matches. Dr. Fletcher removes his glasses and rubs his eyes. "This is what you do when you have a potential mass exposure event. You isolate everyone who might have been contaminated. You test them, and you contain the situation before it spreads." "Then why not tell us?" someone demands. "Why the secrecy?" "Because telling 400 people they've been exposed to radiation causes panic, causes lawsuits, causes political nightmares." Dr. Fletcher replaces his glasses. "Better to frame it as a security measure, keep everyone contained, and sorted out quietly." "The baby that died," Jess says quietly. "Was that from radiation?" "Probably not. Acute radiation sickness takes longer to manifest. The baby likely died from dehydration or another complication of being confined." He pauses. "But if I'm right about the exposure, we're all going to start showing symptoms within the next few days." "What kind of symptoms?" I ask. "Depends on the dosage. Nausea, fatigue, hair loss, internal bleeding, at high enough levels." He doesn't finish. Hank slams his hand against his truck. "So what do we do?" Just sit here and wait to die? We demand medical treatment, Dr. Fletcher says. We demand transparency. We organize a formal petition and present it through official channels. Official channels? Hank laughs bitterly. They shot a man for trying to climb out. What makes you think they'll listen to a petition? Because they need us compliant. The more we resist, the more force they have to use. The harder it becomes to keep this quiet. Dr. Fletcher looks around at the group. We have power in numbers. We have power in documentation. If we all refuse to cooperate until they provide answers, they have to respond. Or they use that sound weapon until our brains liquefy, someone mutters. The group starts arguing, voices rising despite Dr. Fletcher's warnings to stay quiet. Some want to organize a mass protest. Others want to attempt another escape. A few just want to go back to their cars and pray this ends soon. I'm about to speak when I notice something. The tactical teams have stopped their patrols, all of them. They're standing at the access doors, perfectly still, facing inward. Something's happening, I say. Everyone stops talking, follows my gaze. The work lights begin to dim, slowly this time, in gradual increments. The generator's pitch drops. Within 30 seconds, we're in near darkness, only emergency lights providing faint red illumination. Then the access doors all open at once. Hazmat teams pour through. Dozens of them, maybe more. They spread out through the enclosure, moving with purpose. They're not carrying meters anymore. They're carrying stretchers. Get back to your cars, Dr. Fletcher hisses. Now. The group scatters. I run, actually run back to my Subaru, staying low, heart hammering. I make it inside and lock the doors just as a hazmat team passes my position. They're going car to car, knocking on windows. When someone opens their window, they have a brief conversation, then move on. But some cars, they open the doors, pull people out, load them onto stretchers. I watch a young woman in a Toyota get dragged out screaming. She's fighting, kicking, but the hazmat team pins her down, straps her to a stretcher, carries her away. Her screams echo long after she disappears through an access door. They reach Jess's Camry. I watch, helpless, as they knock. She doesn't open her window at first. They knock again, harder. Finally, she cracks it. Words are exchanged. Jess shakes her head violently. The hazmat team number reaches through the window, unlocks her door from inside. They pull her out. She's not fighting like the other woman. She's pleading, begging, reaching back toward her car like there's something in there she can't bear to leave. They put her on a stretcher anyway. Our eyes meet as they carry her past my car. There's terror in her face, but also something else. A message. A warning. Then she's gone. The hazmat teams work through the night. They take maybe 50 people total. The rest of us they leave alone, though I can't figure out the pattern. Age doesn't matter. They take young and old. Gender doesn't matter. It seems random, but I know it's not. By morning, the hazmat teams have retreated. The work lights come back on. The generators resume their normal hum. And I'm still here, sitting in my car, wondering when they'll come for me. Dr. Fletcher's silver Prius is empty. They took him too. I check my watch. It's been 38 hours since this started. I think about Jess's daughter, Emma, waiting for a mother who won't come home. I think about Vera, planning Mom's funeral without me. I think about all the ways I've failed people by doing nothing. Maybe it's time to stop thinking. Maybe it's time to act. Even if I have no idea what that action should be. The census kid comes by around noon on the second day. His name is Tyler, I finally learn. He looks worse than before. Skin waxy, eyes sunken. Recount, he says through my window. We need new numbers. Why? Because people are disappearing. His hand shakes as he marks something in a notebook. Not just the ones they took on stretchers. Others have just gone. Cars empty, no sign of struggle. Maybe they escaped. Through what? The walls? Tyler's laugh is sharp, brittle. We're down to maybe 200 people. Half of what we started with. After he leaves, I look around the enclosure. He's right. There are gaps now. Empty spaces where cars used to be. Not many, but enough to notice if you're paying attention. I haven't been paying attention. My water ran out this morning. Food ran out yesterday. The tactical teams haven't made distribution rounds in over 12 hours. My stomach cramps, my mouth is dry. But worse than the physical discomfort is the silence. No more announcements. No more patrols. Just the generators and the work lights and the 400 of us slowly dying in our metal tomb. Or 200. Or however many are left. I try to remember what Jess looks like. Her face is fuzzy in my memory, details bleeding away. I remember her daughter's name, Emma, but not how old Jess said she was. 4, 5. I should remember. It was just yesterday they took her, wasn't it? I check my watch. The numbers don't make sense. It says 3:47 p.m., but it said 3:47 p.m. an hour ago, too. The second hand moves, sweeping around the face, but when it completes the circle, the minute's hand hasn't budged. I tap the watch face. Nothing changes. Something's wrong. Something's been wrong for a while now, but I'm only just starting to notice. The work lights flicker. When they come back on, the enclosure looks different. Smaller, somehow. The walls closer than they were. I count the cars I can see. 32. There should be more. Tyler comes back. Or maybe he never left. Time is slippery. How many now? I ask. 57, he says. But his lips don't match the words. Like watching a dubbed movie, audio and video out of sync. That can't be right. None of this is right. Tyler's eyes are empty. We're all going to die here. You know that, right? Don't say that. Why not? It's true. We've been here for... He stops, frowns. How long have we been here? 2 days. Are you sure? I'm not sure. I'm not sure about anything anymore. Tyler walks away or fades away, or maybe he was never there at all. The line between real and imagined is getting harder to see. I need to get out of this car. Need to move, to think, to do something other than sit here while reality crumbles around me. I open my door. Nobody stops me. No voice over the speakers. No tactical teams converging on my position. I stand in the strange artificial twilight, legs shaking from disuse, and look around. The enclosure is wrong. The proportions don't match. It's too narrow, too tall. The walls lean inward slightly, like we're at the bottom of a funnel. I don't remember them leaning before. Other people were out of their cars too. Not many, maybe a dozen, standing in small groups or alone, all of us staring at the walls like they might hold answers. A woman nearby starts laughing, high and manic, spiraling up in the hysteria. She runs at one of the walls and slams into it with her shoulder, bounces off, does it again. Again. Blood streaks appear where her shoulder connects with metal. Nobody tries to stop her. We just watch. Eventually, she collapses, sits on the pavement with her back against the wall, sobbing. You feel it too, don't you? A man appears next to me, older, 60s maybe, wearing a suit that used to be expensive. The wrongness. I don't know what I feel. We're not really here, the man says. Or, we are, but not in the way we think. This isn't a containment. It's something else. What? He doesn't answer, just walks away, moving between cars, running his hand along their hoods as if confirming they're solid. I return to my Subaru. The seat feels foreign, like I'm sitting in someone else's car. The steering wheel too far away, the mirrors at wrong angles, my duffel bag in the back seat. When I look at it directly, I can't remember what's inside. My phone sits in the cup holder, still dead. Has been dead since this started. Since when? When did this start? I was driving to my mother's funeral. That part I remember clearly. Mom died. Aneurysm. Vera called me. I got in the car. Started driving north. Then, traffic. The wall. The containment. But there's something else. Something I'm forgetting. Something that happened right before the traffic stopped. I close my eyes trying to remember. Rain. There was rain. Heavy, hammering against my windshield. I've been driving for hours. Tired, not really paying attention. The road was slick. There was a curve. There was... The memory slips away before I can catch it. When I open my eyes, the enclosure is smaller again. Maybe 20 cars visible now. Tyler stands outside my window, but when I look at him directly, he flickers. There 1 second. Gone the next. Back again. 57, who says? Or maybe 5. Or maybe he's not saying anything at all, and I'm just hearing what I expect to hear. The work lights dim to red, then orange, then a sick yellow that makes everyone look like corpses. I think about guilt, about love with nowhere to go, about all the things I should have done and didn't. I think about my mother, holding those pruning shears, tomato plants swaying. I think about the curve in the road, the rain, the way the steering wheel felt in my hands when I realized I was going too fast to make the turn. I think... The lights go out completely. In the darkness, I hear Tyler's voice, small and distant. 1. Just 1. Just me. The lights come back on, but everything is different. I'm still in my Subaru, but now I can see through the walls. Not past them, through them, like the native mist. On the other side, there's the highway, regular I-95, traffic flowing normally, people driving past without seeing me, without seeing any of this, because there is no this. The memory comes back all at once, sharp and complete. I was driving to Mom's funeral, exhausted, grieving, not paying attention. The rain started around Portland, came down hard and fast. I should have pulled over, should have waited it out, but it was already late, already failing, and I thought if I could just push through. The curve came up faster than I expected. I hit the brakes too late. The Subaru hydroplaned, spun sideways, and I remember thinking, not like this. Please, not like this. Then the guardrail, the sound of metal tearing, the sensation of weightlessness as the car went over. The drop wasn't far, maybe 20 feet, but it was enough. I died on impact. Neck broken, the paramedics would tell Vera later. Instantaneous. I didn't feel anything. except I did feel something. I felt all of this. The enclosure, the walls, the containment. None of it was real. It was my mind, in those final seconds, trying to make sense of dying, trying to find a reason, a pattern, a logic to something fundamentally illogical. And the guilt. God, the guilt. All those people trapped with me. They were real too, in their own way. Other souls caught in that same moment, that same accident. A multi-car pileup in the rain. 207 cars. 400 people. All of us dying together. All of us processing it differently. Jess and her daughter Emma. Dr. Fletcher and his theories. Tyler taking his census. All of them real people who died on I-95 that day. The last moments tangled up with mine in some cosmic accident of consciousness. They moved on, accepted it, let go. I couldn't. Because accepting death meant accepting that I'd never apologize to Mom. Never explain why I didn't call her back. Never sit at her grave and tell her I was sorry. So sorry. For every time I chose safety over showing up. Guilt is just love with nowhere to go. But maybe that's wrong. Maybe guilt is just fear dressed up as love. Fear of facing what you've done. Who you've failed to be. I look at the steering wheel, at my hands gripping it even though there's nowhere left to drive. The car sits at the bottom of a ravine, crumpled and smoking. And I'm still here in some metaphysical sense, still holding on. On the highway above, I can see the aftermath. Police lights, fire trucks, ambulances. The loading bodies in the bags, cleaning up debris. Vera will get the call soon, if she hasn't already. She'll wonder why I was driving so recklessly. Wonder if I was drunk, or suicidal, or just careless. She'll never know I was trying to make it. Trying, for once in my life, not to let someone down. The irony would be funny if it weren't so painful. Tyler appears one last time, solid now, clear. He's younger than I thought, maybe 17. You ready? He asks. For what? To go. He smiles and it's gentle. You're the last one. Everyone else figured it out. Figured what out? That holding on hurts more than letting go. I look at the highway, at the life continuing without me, at all the things I'll never do, never say, never fix. Then I look at Tyler's hand extended toward me. Mom used to say that guilt is just love with nowhere to go. But she was wrong about that. Like she was wrong about so many things. Love always has somewhere to go. Forward, onward, even into whatever comes next. I take Tyler's hand. The walls dissolve. The enclosure fades. My car, my body, the highway, all of it falling away like a dream on waking. And for the first time since my mother called me that Tuesday afternoon, I feel something other than fear. I feel ready.